Yay!
Hi, everyone.
I'm like, it works, kind of. It works.
It does. Can we turn it sideways?
I don't know.
It'll show up sideways though on the feed, right?
Oh, no, we don't
sideways.
want to show. We don't want to do that.
Just be like, I don't have one of those little cool arm thingies. So
You have a cool arm. I like your arm. So,
but not like the little
hand
thingies.
holders, but we'll just use the chair and the arm.
Squish together.
You guys, we are out here in California, Southern California, Newport Beach
As you can
area.
see, we're not at our house, right?
We're not.
If you can, like that gray background right there is actually the sky right now, so it's kind of sad.
Well, it's overcast, but it's still fun and exciting. We just got done at the pool, which is why we have the awesome hair going on, and still in my
I'd say my hair actually looks pretty good for being in the pool.
Yeah, that's because I fixed it.
I'm stylish.
But we wanted to come to you live today from outside just because we're in California. We wanted to share that with you. And we are so excited to talk about today, which is the power of saying yes to you. Where did I want to start with this? I told you where I wanted to start with this.
We'll just not plan it. We'll just go for it.
I'm like, I had a whole plan.
That's okay. That means that we need to speak about something different or a different way.
That I think you could be right on that. But
because one of the concepts when Debbie said, hey, let's say yes to you, right? A lot of you, like, I think it's our whole theme of the month of June is that we can live in a very and world.
Right. And I want to be the first to say that I am the queen of getting stuck in or. That's one of the stories that I grew up with. I could have this or I could have that. I could have money or I could have spirituality. I could have the Barbie doll or I could have the pocket knife.
Yep. Or the pocket watch. The pocket knife.
The pocket knife.
The one that cuts, not the one that tells you time.
Yeah, definitely the one that cuts. That's where I grew up. And we've been hearing a lot from our clients recently and seeing out on the interwebs this conversation around saying yes and how difficult it is to say yes, and maybe we shouldn't say yes and we're afraid to say yes because of what it all means on the other side. And so we wanted to just be real with you today about what saying yes means and what that looks like and what you can expect when you say yes to you. Joe was talking to some people this morning about a little bit about my journey. We're going to get into that in that group a little bit later, but the idea being that there came a moment in my life where it came down to whether or not I could say yes to me, because I lived my whole life saying yes to everybody else. Yes to the higher education I thought I had to have, yes to the kind of jobs I had to have, yes to staying when I should leave, and yes to leaving.
Yes to other people.
Yes to other people.
That's
all
where
of
a lot
that
of us
kind
fall
of thing.
into that kind of
that category,
right? That
yeah,
category.
is we get stuck in saying yes to everybody else. Because I'll tell you what, the day, and I can remember it very clearly when I was like, oh my gosh, it's time for me to say yes to me. And this was even after I had learned that I can write my own set of rules and the power of that. There was this moment sitting in my townhome on the terrible brown couch that I hate so much. Anyway, another story, another day. That I was like, if I say yes to me and yes to what I want, I'm now in charge of what happens on the other side. I'm now responsible.
What? If you say yes to you, then you're in charge of your own actions?
Right. But all I could see in that moment was how scary that was. Because before, as long as I said yes to what other people wanted me to do, I felt like I was safe. I felt like if anything went wrong, it was their fault that it went wrong. It wasn't my fault because I did exactly what I should do, which was to say yes to them. And so there is a moment when we go to say yes to ourselves that we experience incredible amounts of fear. Fear of, are we making the right choice? Can I really trust who I am? Can I trust what I feel? And if it all goes wrong, I'm the only one that I can blame for the outcome. So I want to honor, we want to honor the fact that saying yes to you is incredibly scary, but it's also incredibly rewarding. And that's the part that we want to lean into today, or even just map the journey. Because as a next gen millionaire, something I'm learning constantly through my my sessions with Joe is that a lot of the issues that I'm coming up against are because I continue to say no to what alignment is for me and what I want, right? It's like, I know I want that thing over there, but I'm saying yes to all these things over here because I'm still stuck in that story of, if I say yes to everybody else, then at some point the checklist is going to be done, everyone else is going to be taken care of, and then I can focus on my own things, and all those people will love me and everybody will be happy. Who are my peacemakers in the group, right? Where you just people pleasers, where it's just like, I want to make sure everybody else is happy and taken care of, because then I can be happy someday.
Well, how scary is it to go after something you really want, right? Because there's the area you always talk about, like that chasm, right? that where you're at that limit of comfortability to where you're going next, and you don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
And it requires a lot of courage to cross that chasm.
It does,
right?
because it feels like death. Your brain, this is physiological. Your brain actually reads something new as death, or that zone between where you are now and where you want to get. That's the shadow of death right there, the valley of the shadow of death. And so your brain's going to tell you it's death. Your brain's going to tell you everything's going to fall apart. But and it's also scary because suddenly you feel like you have to explain to everybody. You feel like you have to prove why it's okay. People are going to ask you why you're doing that because you're not living in the status quo anymore. So let's be honest. Let's just map this journey for a second, okay? You're at a place in your life right now. All of us are there. All of us that are looking for growth are consistently on that edge of the comfort zone. And we're looking at what's next and we're going, is that the thing that I want next? Is it really where I want to go? And that's the first question that we need to ask. Is it really? Is it really, really, really the thing that you want? And we've talked to some people and it's like, that's not really what you want. Listen to yourself. That over there is what you want. So some of us don't even know what we want. So you got to figure out what you want.
And then verbalize it.
And verbalize it. Vocalize it out loud so that the universe and other people around you know that that's where you're headed.
Well, I think one thing here, if I can add.
Yeah.
Like, it's important for us to vocalize what we really want. And I was talking to a group I was talking to this morning about the same thing. Because if we don't, then we make up the decision in our heads in a split second. If we can vocalize it and speak it out of our mouths and we can hear it, we can now say, we can now make that decision for ourselves. Is this something I really want? Or is this just a fake story that I'm living by, right? It really helps involve the rest of our bodies in. So if we have big dreams, vocalize them. Because if we can't even hear ourselves speak our big dreams, how can other people help us?
I think that's so powerful. Exactly. How can other people help us? So it's first figuring out what you want. And then next step number 2, and this is the simple step, right? It seems simple. Figure out what you want to say yes to what you want. That's it. Say yes to what you want. But that's not all there is to the story. No.
But it's the first steps, right?
It's the first steps, because guess what happens as soon as you say yes to you and what you want?
You get that
what
face.
Happens?
Reset.
Because it gets worse, you guys. And I want to be very real about that. That when you say yes to you, it gets worse. Naysayers get louder. Taking steps forward get harder. The mental gremlins speak up. They come up with new reasons why you can't. I feel
sometimes
like
those mental gremlins show up as your family members,
friends, coworkers, other people in the industry that you're in, some random posts. Without a doubt, anytime I'm like, okay, yes, I'm going to own this, I see some random posts on Facebook talking exactly against the thing that I want to do. And I'm like, well, what the dump? Okay. Right? So it does get worse. I remember a time when we started early on in this journey and I was practicing saying yes to me, and I was really leaning into how to change that programming up here so that I was stronger than the program and stronger than the mental gremlins that were showing up. And 2 tools that our mentor at the time had given us, one was power statements and one was what we call black journals, which was capturing the negative information and being able to look at it and see it for what it is, which is the negative information. And I was doing these 2 things and it felt like they kept getting louder and louder and louder. And I will never forget the moment that Joe came in. I'm in the corner of my bedroom. I'm in complete tears. And he was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And I'm like, they are just so loud right now. Like, all these mental gremlins are so loud. I can't even hear myself think. I can't even see what I want anymore. I can't take another step forward. And if this is how it's going to be, then I'm out. Maybe they're right. Maybe I should just turn back. This is the moment that I need to just throw in the towel and be done, because I am not stronger than the voices that are being so loud in this moment. And it was such a powerful example to me. And I look back again and again, because in that moment, if I had not had Joe there by my side, I would have been done. I would have been out, because I didn't feel strong enough. I was willing to let it go, which speaks to me of the power of having guides in our life, mentors and coaches, and having powerful peer support in our life, the people that can see our vision with us and remind us. I love this quote I heard once, that a friend is someone who knows your soul song and can sing it back to you when you've forgotten the words. And I'm like, that's the kind of peer support that I want around me, is in that moment Joe was my peer, reminding me of my soul song, reminding me of the words, reminding me that I was more powerful, and letting me know that we could do it together. And then I took that moment and I took it to my mentor and I let him know what was happening. I was like, what do you do when? And he goes, when they get really loud and start talking back to you. And I was like, oh, you know? And he's like, of course I know. I've been through this before. And all that to say, it allowed me to get to the other side of that, because there is a moment when you're trying to choose you again and again and again, and the doubt is high and the shame is high and the naysayers are high, and it feels like it just keeps getting louder and louder and louder. But there is a moment where it finally breaks and you get to the other side, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, this is different. Everything's quiet. I feel empowered. I can say yes. I have what I want. The results are coming in. So the realness that we wanted to share with you today is that it will feel like it's getting worse before it gets better, which is why we absolutely implore you, whether it's us or somebody else, that you get a mentor and guide in your life to help move you forward in those moments when you just want to turn back and go the other direction. Okay, it's so imperative. And the second thing we want you to know is that it will be over. There is an end date to how loud they will become. I'm not going to say they're going to go away, because every time we try something new, they try to be like present again. But my power over them is way stronger than it was in the beginning of my journey. And now what we have, the other side, the real power of saying yes to you, is creating the life that you want here and now in the present moment, not waiting for someday. Okay? All the things that Joe and I have in our life right now, the businesses we've built, the connections we've made, the friends that we have, are here and present because we decided to say yes to us now instead of waiting for someday. I always wanted to travel. It wasn't until I said, guess what? I'm traveling. This year I'm traveling, end of story. And we shifted. We said yes to travel, and we shifted our perspective and saying, oh no, next year. Oh no, next time. We're just like, we're just going to find the money. We're going to make the money, right? Because he's the money guy. He's like, we're just going to make it happen.
That was 2017 when you said that. And Debbie went on 19 trips in 1 year.
19 different cities in 12 months.
In 2018, she was like, that's probably a little much.
I was like, I don't need that. What I need is international. And I got invited to go to London, right? And so I'm like, now I've been internationally. And then this year I'm like, okay, I want to go to Asia this year. I think we're going to end up in the Philippines in September. So you guys, there's so many amazing things that can happen, but we've got to say yes to us first. We've got to have the courage, and that's why today is a courage principle. We've got to have the courage to say yes, because all the things that we desire cannot be ours if we're not willing to say yes to us and alignment. Okay, I'm very clear on that. It's an aligned, inspired yes. It's not yes because I deserve it and I should be able to get whatever I want. Yes, you do deserve it, and yes, you will be able to get what you want at any point in time. But it's an inspired, aligned yes. Okay, not a tantrum yes, because I've had those too, right? Where I'm just like, I want all the things, and I will go get all the things. And we survived and we got it, but it wasn't an inspired, aligned yes. And that's what we're looking for, is an inspired, aligned yes. Okay, because when that happens, here we are so that was 2017, where we made a really big commitment to say yes to us and yes to alignment. When higher power said, this is the option, we said yes. It didn't matter if it was a $1,200 product, a $3,000 opportunity, then another $3,000 opportunity, then a $20,000 opportunity. And I was like, oh my gosh, how are we going to do this? And he said, it doesn't matter. We know that this is for you, and we will make it happen. Yep. We will find the way. And we did everything higher power asked. It wasn't just like we're sitting here going, okay, universe, provide. It was like, no, we are going to trust our inspired yes, and we're going to ask for direction, and we're going to take action to make it happen. Yep. And that's why we wanted to kind of share with you outside today, because we wanted you to see, if Joe just tilts this up just a little bit.
Well, there's the other part of the view.
Guys, it's not just a gray sky. Like, this is where we are. There's a fire pit back there. There's a pool over there. Sorry, babe, didn't mean to take your wrist off. This is the view we have. If it wasn't so gray, we'd see the ocean from here. We're staying in this beautiful location. And Joe's able to be here with us, not just here working in a room because he has to make sure that corporate is taken care of, but here, present, hanging in the hot tub, playing with the kids. I don't have to worry about that anymore.
I mean, everything that we're doing while we're here is all for our businesses to move along what we have.
And it's our choice. It's not because we have to. It's now because we choose to. And I didn't have to choose between going to San Francisco and hanging out with one of my mentors and a room full of incredibly amazing, ambitious women. I got to say both. I got to go to San Francisco overnight and then fly down to Newport to spend the week with Joe and his family. And then we're going to Hawaii. And then
the big reveal of the end, right? And then we're going, like they were saying, to Hawaii at the end of the month.
Yeah.
For 10 days.
For 10 days.
Not just for like a week or a couple days. Like most of the month of June is travel this year.
It is. And that's because we designed it that way. And that's the power, the real power of saying yes, is being able to have the life that you want in the present. Guys, I used to think someday all the time. Someday I'll do this. Someday I'll write a book. Someday I'll travel the world. Someday I'll feel happy in the work that I do. Someday I'll feel fulfilled in the life that I have. And all those somedays worked for me until the day and the moment that I didn't think there were any more Sundays to have. That moment on the credit union floor where I thought all my future somedays were going to be taken away and there would be nothing left for me. Nothing left except a whole bunch of like what other people wanted me to do. And that was a powerful, powerful experience in my life because it showed me that guarantees only exist in yesterday. And if I want this life that fulfills me and feeds me and just is so exciting to wake up to every day, I had to start saying yes to me and to my wants in this moment. And I still get to help other people. Today I was able to go, you know what? Had some siblings that it was like, you know what? You guys go lay down. Your parents all the time. You go lay down, you rest. I'm going to take the kids. I'm going to take all 19 kids. Okay, there weren't 19. It feels like they're 19. Oh my gosh, it feels.
There's like four of them.
Right. No, there was not 4. There's more than 4. But anyway, it was like 9. I think there were 9. But I was able to take all those kids and go to the pool because that's what I wanted in that moment. So I want you to think about for you guys today. I know I've done a lot of talking today. Sorry, Joe. Sorry, not sorry. I want you to think about what you really, really want. I want you to capture it. I want you to design it. I don't want you to edit it. Too many of us edit our vision of the future because we've already decided we can't have it. And it's time to let go of that BS.
Or, can I add something there?
Yeah.
Or because we think it has to happen a certain way.
Yes. Right? And there's so many things. Guys, I had a timeline. In high school, I did this cool Jack in the Box timeline of my life. And it was like, this is going to happen in 1998. This is going to happen in 2002. This is going to happen here. This is going to happen here. Everything matched up specifically except for the fact that I wasn't able to have children. And that like blew my brain apart. And I was like, what is the meaning of life if I can't have kids? Because I thought that was the only purpose in me.
Like,
but anyway, it doesn't have to be that way. I've learned to let go of that, to be able to say, you know what? I want travel in my life. I'm not going to put stipulations around what it looks like or why I'm traveling. I'm just going to, I want travel in my life and stuff comes up. I want to do this with my life and stuff comes up. You know, it's being open, as I said, to the inspired yes. Okay. But we can't know that until we know what kind of life we want to create. It's not for the universe to create it for us. That's not how it works, friends. The universe doesn't create it for us. We are the ones that co-create with the universe and with higher power. There is power in higher power in universe, but we've got to be the ones helping with that vision and saying, this is what really feeds my soul. Now, higher power in universe, how do I make that happen? Who do I need to talk to? Who can help me? If you saw Joe's post this last week on who can help you, powerful question. But all of that to say, we wanted you to know it gets worse before it gets better. And then it gets so much better that it becomes not just your happily ever after, but as I like to call it, the happily epic after. Because there will come a time as you say yes to you in inspiration and alignment, when you say yes to you, that you will reach the end of that Jack in the Box timeline. And so many more amazing things will still be happening in your life. And you're like, I didn't plan this. I didn't know this was going to happen. What we're living today, this was on no plan anywhere. I had no idea that our life could be so fulfilling and so delicious and so filled with the things that I wanted. I just knew that what did I want? I wanted a business that made me happy. I wanted to help transform the world. I wanted to help people know how loved they are and how lovable they are. to love themselves so deeply and so passionately, and to believe in themselves so strongly that the world couldn't help but believe in them too. I knew I wanted that. And I knew I wanted them to know that they matter and their message matters, that they have the power to change the world. And now I get to live that every day in the soul work that I do, in the soul mapping I do. I knew I wanted opportunities to go to the movies with Joe on a Monday morning when everybody else was at work, because that makes me happy. I knew I wanted to travel the world. I knew I wanted to not have to worry about debt and paying and bills and all of those things. And I knew I wanted joy. I wanted to taste life, not just endure it. And so that's what I have. But that came from saying yes. What's come from you from saying yes?
I mean, I think looking back at our story and what we've done, me saying yes to me has allowed me to actually have a vision other than what I was living. Like I was content with life because I didn't think it was going to get any better. Like all the dreams and aspirations that I had as a child were just like basically ground out of me. So, saying yes to me allows me to do some really scary things, some things that are way outside my comfort zone or ever have been.
But dancing, like hula dancing?
Well, I was telling the ladies on the calls on this morning, I'm like, I like skip in the
parking lot,
grocery store parking lot now, right? Not because I think somebody's going to make fun of me, because they probably are, but because I know what joy it brings to me. So I think saying yes to me allows me to understand what joy is for myself, independent of whatever anybody else thinks, because it's not about anybody else. It's all about us and being selfish in the right ways for us to propel ourselves forward in the goals and ambitions that we have. Because if it not, no one's going to champion you like you will. No one will, I promise. So it's time for you to step in and champion yourself. Figure out what saying yes to you is. And like Debbie challenged you, find something to say yes to today that's for you specifically. Because when you become a little selfish for yourself, the world starts to change. And not in a negative, bad way. Selfish has always been used as a horrible word.
But in a good way.
But in a way that will help further your endeavors.
Yeah.
In a way that's in alignment with you. Because everybody who watches our live streams, we know are all aligned people.
Generous,
who want the best
giving,
for the world.
World-changing, magic-making, transformational, people.
So
you want a better world.
We know when we teach you this stuff and I say selfish, you're not going to go be like evil and like take things from people.
Yeah, evil people need not apply. But there's got to be an element of us saying yes to us, because we're training the next generation to say yes to them in a way that's aligned, that benefits humanity rather than undermining humanity. Yeah. So you guys, you're incredible. You're amazing. There is power in saying yes. And if you're going, I'm looking at the scary things that are coming and I don't know how to get through them, we're going to invite you to be a part of the group that we're putting together, a 6-week journey into your relationship with money, because what we know is there is a lot of stuff there. The money is a powerful reflector for understanding what's going on deeper beneath the surface. And anybody that was on Joe's call this morning for the other group that we're working with could testify to the power of understanding the story. I got to listen in a little bit. It was so incredible. So if that's something that you're like, I need help getting through this next part of my journey, please just say, yes, I need help, or pick me, or whatever you want to say. Let us know in the comments below, and Joe will message you and you guys can have a conversation about whether or not this group is going to be the next best step for you. So you guys, say yes to you. Don't put it off till someday. Someday is not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. And the lives that we want to live and the abundance we want to create is available to us now. As long as we're willing to choose awareness, take action, and receive the guidance along the way that leads to transformation. Do you have anything else you want to say?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
Okay, so we're going to go back to our vacation then. I'm going to go shower and eat.
I'm going to show you one more time.
I was going to say.
Beautiful view. See as we poke up our heads. See.
And whether this is the view you want or not, find out what's the view you want. Where's the place you want to go? Or what's the homecation you want to have? This is about designing the life you want, not the life that we've designed. That's just silly rubbish.
Yeah, because I don't know. I like playing hockey like 3 times a week, so that's part of the life
We're still discussing that. I'm more of a 2 times a week kind of girl, but it's about designing your life and your happily epic after, or your happily ever after, because epic just happens on its own. So you guys, we love you. Thank you for those that were able to be here today. It was so fun to see you. I saw Melissa, Karen, I think I saw Brenda in there, and Christine. It was so much fun. Sometimes Facebook tells us you're here, but doesn't always tell us who you are. So feel free to comment. We'll be back in here later to check comments and to answer any questions. And guys, you're worth saying yes to. Please say yes to you. That, I think, is a powerful quality of a Next Gen Millionaire.
Every single day.
Yeah, every day. You're worth it. You deserve it. You're amazing. And we'll see you online.
Yep, we'll be
and
here.
Hopefully in our group. Come be with us for the next 6 weeks. We want to help you. So, right?
Yep.
Right. Okay, you guys, have a beautiful day.
Bye.